Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went there in the first place? It is a frustrating feeling, isn't it? You stand there looking around, trying to retrace your mental steps while a subtle wave of panic washes over you. Maybe you have noticed that finding the right word during a conversation feels like searching for a needle in a haystack, or that the mental fog just does not seem to lift until noon. We often brush these moments off. We tell ourselves it is just a normal part of aging. We say, oh, I am just having a senior moment. But what if I told you that these lapses in memory and that persistent brain fog might not be due to your age at all? What if the culprit is sitting right on your kitchen counter in a clear plastic bottle disguised as a heart-healthy ingredient? There is a silent fire burning inside the brains of millions of seniors, and the fuel for that fire is likely something you use every single day to cook your eggs or dress your salad. It is shocking to think that a simple daily habit could be causing immediate inflammation in your brain tissue, affecting your focus, your mood, and even your long-term cognitive health. Today, we are going to expose the truth about cooking oils. We are going to talk about the one specific type of oil you need to stop using immediately if you want to protect your memory. And we will look at the liquid gold you should be using instead to actually heal your brain and sharpen your mind. By the time we are done here, you will have a clear roadmap to reclaiming your mental clarity and protecting your most precious asset, which is your mind. Before we dive into the science and the solutions, if you care about staying healthy, independent, and sharp as a tack well into your 80s and 90s, please consider subscribing to our channel and turning on notifications. We share the kind of senior health tips that mainstream medicine often overlooks, and I do not want you to miss a single one. And let me ask you a quick question. Are you watching this from the United States, the UK, Canada, or somewhere else entirely? Drop a comment below with where you are from. I am always curious to see how far our community of health-conscious seniors reaches. It is amazing to see us all coming together to learn. Now, let us get into the thick of it. We need to talk about the hidden enemy in your pantry. For decades, we have been sold a lie. We were told that traditional fats were bad and that we should switch to vegetable oils because they were better for our cholesterol and our hearts. But the reality is much more complicated and frankly much more dangerous for our brains, especially once we cross the age of 60. The problem lies in a specific type of fat called omega-6 fatty acids and how they interact with your body. When you are young, your body can handle a lot of abuse. It can bounce back from inflammation. But as we age, our natural defense systems slow down. Our ability to quell the fires of inflammation diminishes. When you consume these industrial seed oils, which are often mislabeled as vegetable oils, you are essentially pouring gasoline on a fire. The first major offender we need to discuss is soybean oil. You might think you do not cook with soybean oil, but I challenge you to go to your pantry right now and look at the back of your salad dressing bottle or that jar of mayonnaise or even that box of crackers. Soybean oil is everywhere. It is cheap to produce and it has flooded our food supply. The problem is that it is incredibly high in omega-6 fatty acids. Now we need some omega-6 seconds, but in the modern diet, we are getting 20 to 30 times more than we need. Think of your brain as a high-performance engine. It requires a precise fuel mixture to run smoothly. When you flood it with soybean oil, you are clogging the engine. This oil promotes the production of inflammatory chemicals called cytokines. When these chemicals spike in your blood, they can cross the blood-brain barrier. Imagine tiny little sparks flying into your brain tissue. This is neuroinflammation, immediate brain inflammation. It does not take years. It happens shortly after you consume these oxidized, unstable fats. You might feel it as a headache or just a heavy lethargy where you do not want to get off the couch. Let's dig a little deeper into why this happens. These oils are highly unstable. When they are processed in the factory, they are heated to extremely high temperatures, washed with harsh chemical solvents like hexane, which is actually a component of gasoline, and then bleached and deodorized. So they look clean and smell neutral. By the time that oil hits the bottle on the supermarket shelf, it is already damaged. It is full of free radicals. When you cook with it at home, you are damaging it even further. When you eat this damaged oil, it integrates into your cell membranes. Every cell in your body, including your brain cells, has a protective outer shell made of fat. You want that shell to be built from high-quality, flexible fats so that nutrients can get in and waste can get out. But when you build your brain cells out of damaged soybean oil, the cell walls become stiff and dysfunctional. It is like trying to open a rusty door. Signals cannot get through properly. This is why you might find yourself standing in the living room, forgetting why you walked in. Your neurons are trying to communicate, but the lines are down. I want to share a quick story about a woman named Linda, who's part of our community. Linda is 68, and she loves to bake. She used to use vegetable shortening and soybean oil for everything because that is what her mother taught her. Linda started suffering from terrible brain fog and joint pain in her hands. She thought it was just arthritis and age. She decided to cut out all seed oils for 30 days just to see what would happen. She threw out the margarine and the vegetable oil. Within 2 weeks, she said it felt like a curtain had been lifted. Her hands stopped aching, and she could finish the Sunday crossword puzzle in half the time. It wasn't magic, it was biology. She stopped inflaming her system, and her body thanked her for it. Moving on to the second culprit on our list, which is corn oil. This is another one that sounds innocent. Corn is a vegetable, right? Well, technically it is a grain, but the oil extracted from it is highly processed. Corn oil is almost entirely omega-6 fats with very little omega-3 to balance it out. In the world of Dr. William Li and modern nutritional science, we talk a lot about the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3. You want to balance close to 1 to 1. Corn oil pushes that ratio way off balance, sometimes as high as 50 to 1. When you have that much omega-6 floating around your system, your body stays in a chronic state of high alert. Your immune system is constantly triggered. For the brain, this is disastrous. Chronic low-grade inflammation is now linked to almost every major neurodegenerative condition. We are talking about Alzheimer's and dementia. It starts with inflammation. Think of it like a slow leak in a water pipe behind a wall. You do not see the damage immediately, but over time, the rot sets in. Corn oil provides the water for that leak. Plus, corn is one of the most genetically modified crops in existence, often sprayed heavily with pesticides that can disrupt your gut microbiome. And as we know, a healthy gut leads to a healthy brain. If you are destroying your gut bacteria with pesticide-laden oils, your brain is going to suffer the consequences. Now, I know this sounds overwhelming. You might be thinking, but I have been using these oils for 40 years. Is it too late? Let me reassure you right now, it is never too late. The human body has an incredible capacity for regeneration. Your brain is neuroplastic, meaning it can change and heal. Your blood vessels can heal through a process called angiogenesis, which is how your body grows new blood vessels to feed healthy tissue and prunes away the bad ones. But to let your body heal, you have to stop the assault. You have to stop the daily intake of these inflammatory poisons. Let's talk about canola oil. This is perhaps the most controversial one because for years it was marketed as the healthy choice. It stands for Canada Oil Low Acid. It comes from the rapeseed plant. In its natural state, rapeseed oil is actually toxic to humans, so it has to be heavily refined to be edible. The manufacturing process of canola oil is incredibly harsh, involving high heat and pressure. This process creates trans fats. Now, the label might say 0 trans fats, but the FDA allows companies to round down. So you could be getting a small dose of trans fats with every tablespoon. Trans fats are like sludge for your brain. They stiffen your arteries and reduce blood flow. Your brain uses 20% of your body's oxygen. It needs a massive amount of blood flow to function. If your arteries are stiffened by years of canola oil consumption, you are slowly starving your brain of the oxygen and nutrients it needs. This manifests as that sluggish feeling. You know, the one where you just cannot seem to get going in the morning. That is not just laziness, that is a physiological blockage. I want you to picture your brain's blood vessels like a complex network of highways. When you eat healthy fats, traffic flows smoothly. Emergency vehicles can get where they need to go. When you eat canola oil, it is like creating a traffic jam. Accidents happen, road rage occurs. That is inflammation. And if you have high blood pressure, which many of us over 60 do, this is even more critical. You need to keep those vessels soft and pliable, and canola oil does the exact opposite. If you are finding these tips eye-opening so far, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps spread the word to other seniors who might be struggling with memory issues and have no idea it is their cooking oil. And if you have not yet, do subscribe for more little-known health insights. We are just getting started on this list, and the solutions I am about to share are going to change the way you cook forever. Now, let's address sunflower and safflower oil. You often see these in expensive potato chips or organic snacks. They sound healthy because they come from flowers. But here is the catch. Unless they are specifically labeled as high oleic, they are just huge bombs of omega-6 fatty acids again. And there is another issue with these oils. When you heat them up, they release toxic compounds called aldehydes. Aldehydes are known carcinogens and neurotoxins. A study found that heating sunflower oil released massive amounts of these toxins, even more so than some other oils. So imagine you are frying up some healthy fish, but you are using sunflower oil. You are taking a brain-healthy food, the fish, and coating it in a neurotoxin. It defeats the purpose. You breathe in these fumes while you cook, and you ingest them when you eat. These toxins have been linked to an increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. It is scary, I know, but knowledge is power. Now that you know, you can make a different choice. You can choose not to bring these into your home. So, what about the restaurant trap? This is a big one for us seniors. We like to go out, maybe socialize, have a nice dinner. But restaurants almost exclusively use these cheap industrial oils. And worse, they reuse them. They heat them up, cool them down, and heat them up again for days. This creates a chemical nightmare of oxidation. That deep-fried calamari or those French fries are soaked in oil that has been chemically degraded to the point of being a poison. I am not saying you can never eat out again. Life is for living. But be aware, if you eat a heavy meal at a restaurant and feel brain fog or fatigue afterwards, recognize it for what it is. It is an inflammatory response. Maybe try to order grilled items or ask for your vegetables to be steamed with butter or olive oil on the side. Small requests can save your brain a lot of stress. Now, let's pivot to the good news. I promised you a solution, and here it is. We are going to replace these inflammatory oils with fats that actually heal your brain, that fight inflammation, and that support your immune system. The first and most important swap is extra virgin olive oil. If there is a miracle food, this is it. Dr. William Li talks extensively about the power of olive oil. It is rich in polyphenols, specifically one called hydroxytyrosol. This compound is a potent antioxidant that protects your cells from damage. It crosses the blood-brain barrier and acts like a shield for your neurons. It also supports healthy angiogenesis, helping your circulation stay robust, so your brain gets plenty of oxygen. You should be using extra virgin olive oil liberally. Pour it on your salads, drizzle it over your steamed vegetables. You can even cook with it at low to medium heat. There is a myth that you cannot cook with olive oil, but high-quality olive oil is actually quite stable. The flavor alone is an upgrade, but the health benefits are profound. A study from Spain showed that seniors who consumed a Mediterranean diet rich in olive oil had significantly better cognitive function than those on a low-fat diet. It literally kept their brains younger. Imagine drizzling that rich green gold over a ripe tomato. You are not just making lunch, you are dosing yourself with medicine. Medicine that tastes delicious. You might notice that when you switch to olive oil, your skin looks better, your joints feel looser, and your mind feels sharper. It acts as a lubricant for your entire system. The second great option is avocado oil. This is your go-to for high heat cooking. If you want to sear a steak or stir fry some vegetables, avocado oil is perfect. It has a very high smoke point, meaning it does not break down and become toxic when you get it hot. It is also chemically very similar to olive oil, rich in monounsaturated fats, which are heart and brain healthy. It has a neutral taste, so it won't overpower your food. Think of avocado oil as your utility player. It is reliable, strong, and safe. By swapping your corn or canola oil for avocado oil, you are removing a source of inflammation and replacing it with a source of fuel. Your liver loves it, your heart loves it, and your brain definitely loves it. And we cannot forget about coconut oil. Now, coconut oil was demonized for a long time because it is a saturated fat. But we have learned that not all saturated fats are created equal. Coconut oil contains medium-chain triglycerides, or MCTs. These are special fats that go straight to the liver and are converted into ketones. Ketones are a super fuel for the brain. As we get older, sometimes our brains lose the ability to process glucose or sugar efficiently. This is sometimes called type 3 diabetes. When the brain becomes insulin resistant, ketones bypass this broken machinery and provide instant energy to hungry brain cells. Many people report that adding a little coconut oil to their morning routine clears up the fog instantly. It is like flipping a switch. However, moderation is key here, especially if you have high cholesterol issues, so check with your doctor. But for many, it is a brain booster. I also want to mention butter and ghee. Yes, real grass-fed butter. For years, we were told to eat margarine. Margarine is a chemical concoction of gray vegetable oils dyed yellow. It is terrible for your brain. Real butter, especially from grass-fed cows, contains vitamin K2 and butyrate, which is a short-chain fatty acid that heals the gut lining. And remember, the gut-brain connection. A healed gut means a clearer mind. Ghee, which is clarified butter, is even better for high-heat cooking and has a delicious, nutty flavor. So here is the practical strategy. It is simple. Go to your pantry today. Take a box or a bag. Put the soybean oil, the corn oil, the canola oil, and the vegetable oil blend in that bag and throw it away. Do not feel bad about wasting it. It is cheaper to throw away a $5 bottle of oil than to pay for the medical costs of chronic inflammation later. Replace them with one high-quality bottle of extra virgin olive oil for raw and low-heat use, one bottle of avocado oil for cooking, and maybe some grass-fed butter or coconut oil for flavor. That is it. That is the whole system. It might feel a bit unsettling to learn all this, to realize you have been cooking with something harmful for so long. But remember, knowledge is power. Now that you know you have the control, you do not need to overhaul your entire life overnight. Just changing this one ingredient, the oil you cook with, is one of the most impactful things you can do. It changes the composition of every cell membrane in your body over time. Imagine walking up the porch steps easily again without your knees creaking. Imagine remembering your grandchild's birthday without having to check the calendar. Imagine feeling a consistent energy throughout the day instead of that afternoon crash. These are the differences these small tweaks can make over time. It is about quality of life. You have worked hard your whole life. You deserve to enjoy these golden years with vitality and clarity. It is also important to read labels. This is where they get you. You buy a jar of pesto thinking it is healthy, and you turn it over, and the first ingredient is sunflower oil. Put it back. Look for the one made with olive oil. It might cost $1 more, but your brain is worth more than $1. You buy a loaf of bread, check the ingredients. If it has soybean oil, try to find a bakery loaf that uses simple ingredients. We have to be detectives for our own health because the food industry is prioritizing profit over your longevity. I want to address a common question I get. What about walnuts and flax seeds? Aren't they high in omega-6? Yes, they are, but they are whole foods. The oil inside a walnut is protected by the nut meat. It hasn't been extracted with hexane and bleached. Eating whole nuts is fantastic for your brain. Walnuts specifically look like little brains, and they are packed with neuroprotective compounds. So do not be afraid of whole foods. Be afraid of the industrial processing that strips the life out of the food and leaves behind a toxic residue. Let's recap because I want you to walk away with a clear plan. First, avoid the hateful 8 of industrial oils: soybean, corn, canola, sunflower, safflower, grapeseed, cottonseed, and rice bran. Second, embrace the healing fats: extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, and coconut oil. Third, read your labels religiously. If you cannot pronounce it, or if it is one of those bad oils, do not put it in your body. And finally, listen to your body. Pay attention to how you feel after you eat. If you feel sluggish, that is a signal. And remember, your body is always trying to heal and strengthen itself. It is remarkably resilient. All we have to do is give it the right fuel and get out of the way. Growing older might be inevitable, but growing weaker and losing your memory doesn't have to be. With the right habits, you can stay strong, mobile, and independent. I know getting older is hard. The aches, the fear of losing mobility, it can be scary and discouraging. I watch my own family members go through it, but you are not alone in this, and it is not too late to turn things around. Every small step you take, every better food you choose, every good habit you build is strengthening your legs and your future freedom. One meal, one step at a time, you are taking charge of your health. You are saying, I am not done yet. Now, I would love to hear from you. Which of these tips surprised you the most? Did you know about the dark side of canola oil, or was that news to you? Do you have any personal experiences with switching oils and feeling better? Share your story or any questions in the comments below. I read every single one and we all learn from each other. Your experience might be the encouragement someone else needs to make a change today. And if you are still with me and determined to stay strong, type a number 1 in the comments to affirm it. Just type the number 1. It is a small symbol of your commitment to yourself. And if you disagree or have doubts, you can type 0. I appreciate all feedback. Your voice matters here. If this video helped you or opened your eyes even a little, please hit the like button. It means a lot. It tells YouTube that this is important information and helps other seniors find us. And do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on important health insights that could improve your life. We have plenty more science-backed tips for thriving in your golden years because your health and independence are worth fighting for. Stay strong, stay healthy, and remember, your independence is carried by your legs and your life is navigated by your mind. Keep taking those small steps for your health. They add up to giant strides in your freedom. I will see you in the next video.